every week at this time on a Wednesday, we give you a roundup of the key developments across West Africa. And to help us make sense of the political, economic, and security shifts in the region, we're now joined live by Dr. Matsanga, who's a political scientist, conflict resolution specialist, and observer of African dynamics. Dr. Matsanga, always good to talk to you. A very good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Peter. And thank you very much, Africa. Good morning, Africa, and good morning, the entire world.
So I know it's not West Africa, but I do think that it's a story that resonates, particularly in West Africa, given the amount of coups that have taken place in the region. Your thoughts on what's been happening in Madagascar and what it means for the continent in general, that we're seeing this kind of shift in power. Something is missing that forces people onto the streets and then the military to intervene on their behalf.
Thank you very much. I was one of the few people with Chisano who hammered the Madagascar crisis when this DJ Joker seized the power and overthrew the elected government. You come by sword, you go by sword. And that one I told Chisano that this young man must start behaving, otherwise some time to come. And I'm still here. But let me come to the point. Africa is managing what we call a volcano. We are managing a volcano. There is a big volcano down under there, steaming with a lot until we go back. Entire Africa, let's go back. China style. I am sorry to say this. 40 years ago, China went back and started thinking afresh. What went wrong? Mao Zedong overthrew the kingdoms, removed them, took over a revolution. But what has he done for us? Africa must start thinking. And therefore, it came out. Today, China gives us food, supplies us money, lends us money. It was one of the poorest countries on planet Earth with one rice scheme in my country, Uganda. We were sharing that rice. Look at China today. Time has come for Africa to review. There is what we call fatigue evaluation in political science. Fatigue evaluation. Africa has reached that era. Before more and more of these coups appear, there is a volcano under Peter Ndoro.
So just ahead of these coups, there seems to be a lot of movement on the streets, and young people in particular seem to be leading the charge. They've been coined Gen Z movements based on what we saw in Kenya. And I'm just wondering if the older generation are paying attention, because Africa is a very young continent. The average age is 19. And young people have lost faith in our normal democratic processes because, sadly, they often get hijacked.
Yes, you see, the problem of Africa is dual. Those who vote and those who are voted. So we have that problem. The voters also select the wrong people. And those who are voted also ignore the voters. And therefore, in political science, such a clash, any expert like me who has done it up to the last IOT on planet Earth, I will tell you, my dear brother, that is supposed to produce a volcano that will erupt. Two, the institutions that we took over after independence, some of them remain the same. The laws remain the same. You see, we have even followed that every African country, we still have a colonial doctrine, leftovers, hangovers, that if you want to cross to South Africa, you must have an ID passport. You must have this, produce document, tell when your father was born and when your father died before you enter some African country. Those colonial divide and rule tactics are still, the younger generation now don't like to see that. We must move faster to change the situation, to give space. There's social media, there is everything that has come. You can't lead the people the way we used to lead them in the 60s when the Matsangas were growing up and others. You see, you saw the wave of coups in 1970. Idi Amin swept us out, swept my father and other people, Obote and others was out. Several coups occurred. Aronzi came in Nigeria. A Champong came in Ghana. You look, we are going back to that level. We shouldn't do that. We should now move faster, integrate Africa, create a harmonious movement. Some of the pressures that are in South Africa, the youth can move to Uganda and work. There's plenty of work in Ugandan chambers, plenty of work in Kenyan chambers, plenty of work in Ghana, plenty of work in Nigeria. All what we are doing, we are managing these situations, corruption, bad governance, is causing that type of wave.
So let's go to the DRC. When this latest peace agreement between DRC and Rwanda was signed, there were a lot of skeptics given the history, and it looks as if this current one is all but collapsed. Not a surprise, I'm guessing, but what does it mean in the bigger picture of things for this part of the world?
Matsanga, let me go back to my maker when I have told you the truth, Peter Dolo. If you don't rearrange Congo, stop wasting our resources, period. I'm one of the few Africans who's proud. Kill me if you want. But I'm telling you, Congo is too big to be managed by a president who doesn't know the left, the right, the tail, the back. 2, Congo is too big. If we did in Yugoslavia, why are you fearing to say it? Why are you coming with pieces of paper that will collapse? You are managing Congo and you are saying there's a peace agreement. The president in Kinshasa is giving Mr. Kabila, the former president who gave him power, life sentence and a death sentence. How will you manage Congo? Rubbish. This time has come for us to tell the truth and tell some of these African brothers of ours that you are useless. How can you? What will Tshisekedi do to me? I worked with his father. What will he do to me? I'm better than him in education. What is he going to do? Let's tell him the truth. How do you sentence another man? You are looking for peace process, and then you sentence another one to death. You are creating insurgents. You are creating insurgents. So time has come. For me, I have said, and I will continue to say, whether I'm going near Angel Gabriel going to die, Congo needs to be divided or rearranged or given a new system. The current system, whether you do 2 million peace processes, there are 240 standing army, Peter Ndolo. They are waiting there. They are standing there to fight. What are you trying to do peace process for? And America, Trump, my friend Trump, stand up and smell of the coffee. You are the one causing more problems in Congo than anybody else. You are saying, give me the minerals, I'll give you mercenaries to go and guard who? Guard who? Guard who? Since 1961, even F. Kennedy was still alive. And, and he never managed the Congo. Who are you to manage the Congo? Divide the Congo the Yugoslavian way. Let people have a state. The West does not like the East. They call them Tutsi. How are you going to manage the Congo? Tell me. Tell me. Anybody who has gone to school, unless you went to a school compound, not a classroom. Thank you.
All right, let's move to Cameroon. What do you think is going to happen next there? We've got the opposition leader, Issa Chiroma Bakary, declaring victory. And the question is, I guess, when the final results come out, will that be the story? Or will we see the continuation of Paul Biya, who might be nearly 100 by the time he finishes this term, if he's allowed to take victory here? What's your take on what's happening in this chapter of Cameroon's history?
Again, Cameroon is a story of bad colonialism. The French, British, UN, they left us a problem in Cameroon. I am one of the few people on planet Earth who has stood by the people of Southern Cameroon. You know that as the voting takes place, some people in Southern Cameroon never voted. They are under military occupation by the North French Cameroonians. Now tell me what voting is that? Cameroon pretends to be a member of the Commonwealth. What member of the Commonwealth? What was the value of Commonwealth? Why do we be in the Commonwealth with a country that violates human rights of individuals? What country is this in the Commonwealth? I have written to the Commonwealth Secretary General and I told her we elected a good person. When she reached London, she became a dangerous person. She doesn't know what to do. She's like that other woman of Bahamas, that lady, Patricia Scotland, who went to get money and ignored the human rights record. Mr. Dolo, Brother Dolo, there are no human rights record, good human rights record in Cameroon. 3,000 people, representing some of them. I'm representing them internationally. The 10 men were abducted from Nigeria, another Commonwealth country that is on the collapse, brought in, charged at 5 a.m., sentenced to life. And 3,000 other people are languishing in prison, prisoners of war, not of conscience. They have never been sentenced. Then you call me, you are sending an observer team to observe over dead body and blood, stained election. You must be derailed mentality. You must be bribed. You are being bribed by Paul Biya. Paul Biya will not even accept. He's now keeping quiet, manipulating the results to announce himself, even when he's brain dead. He doesn't know where he is. This is a leader in Africa who has embarrassed us, whom the army, in fact, the army should move to such leaders, not to move to places where things are not a bit all right. Paul Biya is a very dangerous man. He doesn't know even Paul Biya where he is. He says, am I in Paris or am I in Switzerland? A man who rules the country from Switzerland, and while the country is in Africa. A man who comes to open a football match of African nations and flies back to Switzerland. Is that an African president or and the president of the Arabs?
All right, so very briefly, because we're running out of time, so many stories I wish we had had time to look at, but I am curious about Senegal's sovereign bonds dropped after Moody's flagged liquidity risks. With many West African nations under debt pressure, how vulnerable is the region, do you think, to this kind of financial contagion?
Peter Ndoro, when these two younger men took over power in Senegal, I was one of the few people who were their friends. I stood by them. I campaigned for them to be released on your television stations. And thank you very much, South Africa. South African television and your station and this I said so many things to get those two men, Faye and Sonko, out of prison. But Faye has disappointed me. And that is the beginning of his end. He's going. You have seen, he has not listened to my advice. He never listened. He went to the French again. He went begging them. So the French are manipulating him. And most of these are coming as a result. The people inside, the two are not working nicely. One policy wanted to go radical shift, like Burkina Faso and Mali. They wanted a change. They wanted to break off relationship with France. Faye refused. Faye still relies on France. France is in turmoil. And therefore, you are bound to have the economy back on the ground. Signals are coming out that they are not very well. They are not doing very well. Therefore, their bond is becoming useless on the international scene. Therefore, I think there is only one solution. They must stand alone, get off the French franc, using it, come up with new methods, economic measures that will alleviate the lives of the people of Senegal. Otherwise, I think there is also another problem coming from that one of the oldest countries in the west of Africa, Senegal. It is not doing very well at all. Peter Ndoro, my brother, veteran journalist.
Dr. Matsanga, time is never on our side, and so we're just going to have to leave it there. But it's always great talking to you. Thanks so much for your insights and contributions every week.
Thank you very much, Peter. But one of the things I live with Africans, African Union is dead. It can't survive. It can't help. The political office, Peter Ndoro of African Union, they don't know where the coup is coming tomorrow or not. They don't advise these countries. There is a man there called Bankole who has been there for 30 years. Let the Africans remove him. Let the youth go for Mr. Bankole in African Union in order for him to wake up, to give us signals on when trouble is coming on our continent. That's the role of the political security and other committees of the African Union, but it is dead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. Always great talking to you. Thank you so much indeed. All right, and that's where we'll leave the West Africa Roundup for today. Right now, though, it's time for your news headlines. We say good morning once again to Chwalane Tulongwepe.
SABC News.